Good afternoon. This is Dr. Bill White again with the American Orthodontic Society. When I first started in practice, I had a large group of young people, kids, and a lot of kids in my practice, and they needed preventive and interceptive orthodontics. And there was nobody in my area that I knew of that was doing anything to prevent interceptive and preventive things. And so I came up with this reduction of deciduous teeth and kind of allocating this space out as nature needed it for putting the teeth in their proper place. And if you had a child that was functioning correctly all the time and doing things correctly, swallowing and breathing right and all that, we could bring their teeth in, even though some of them had such crowded genetics in their family that you had to extract some teeth. But many of these people, we could bring their teeth into the mouth without any problem and have them a nice straight set of teeth. So I'm going to show that real fast here this afternoon on working on this, where we do this pulpotomy on these deciduous teeth. And I probably have done thousands of pulpotomies, but they've all been on vital teeth. And I've never had one blow up yet. And I'll say that. Now, I did not do them on abscess teeth, or when I did one, I really did a pulpotomy on it. So I'm going to get into this quite quick, and we'll try to run through it as fast as we can. Now, here's a young lady that comes in. Her mother brings her in, and she's got obvious crowded teeth. I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, you can see that the permanent lateral, I see it down here underneath there, and all these teeth are leaned over in this direction, and otherwise she's doing fine and everything. So we want to try to correct this problem that this young lady had. So what we decided, and we worked on this for a long time before I ever published it, and I published it at a table clinic deal and won it, and had to speak before the whole orthodontic, Texas and Louisiana Orthodontic Society on this subject. So we decided we could take these teeth down, in other words, and reduce them enough to let these straighten out and left the root of the tooth in there. There's an old pedodontist from Shreveport showed me how to do the pulpotomies, and we did that. And we did this on thousands of teeth. I'm not kidding you. And we took the pulp out with a long tapered diamond, but I later went to and this was back in the early 70s, I forget, maybe they'll have a date on it somewhere back in here. Now, what we're going to do is trim this cuspid tooth down. Now, sometimes you have to cut it in a circle in here, and you gave this lateral room to move over right there. And we took this I did a brand new diamond or a brand new burr and sterilized it, and we just went after it. I never used a rubber dam. You grind the rubber dam up in the process of that. And so we would take this tooth down. There's the diamond that we used right up there, and we took a burr later on and did it. Now we just did a topical. We would inject around here and back in on the inside here and get it good and numb. Then I sometimes would take a piece of tissue out here, and this lateral was right over in this area. And we would cut down there, and we got close to it, then we'd snap it off and bring this on up, and then I would turn and take this same diamond and go down in this pulp down here and just literally obliterate the pulp. I did not try to stop it from bleeding. Don't ever blow anything down in there. You can aspirate, but there's no need of it. We prefer to pack zinc oxide and eugenol down in the nerve canal. And as I say, I've done thousands of these things, and I have, honest to God, never have had one blow up. And that is a fact. As far as I know, there's one here that was done by an oral surgeon and an MD, and it did blow up. But that's the only one. That's one on the second bicuspid now it did. All right, we do this, take this out. We go ahead, and now we aspirate, and we take it and kind of flake that thing off. Now, there's a little secret to going around this lateral. You don't want to touch it. You can grind the deciduous tooth completely away if you want to, but yet you leave the root of that tooth in there. And if you leave that root, this bicuspid or the cuspid moving over in that area will not root against that and move it out of there. And so we hope that you'll do that. Extracting the teeth is not the problem, but if you extract this, then this erupting tooth coming in this area will just come right into the space, and you lose space in the arch if you extract the teeth. And that's, as far as we can tell, that's a fact. And you can take it down or not, whatever you want to. Now we go ahead and take that pulp out. We pack it with zinc oxide and eugenol. That's all that's in there. We do a drop or two of eugenol on there, of chemically pure eugenol, and mix it up until it is so stiff that you can cut the blooming stuff off and shape it like you want to. And I made a point right here, put it on the end of a spoon, and then pack it down into the nerve canal. Don't just pussyfoot around it. You've got to really put it in there, and you need to pack it. And we usually did it with an amalgam plugger. Let it bleed. Do not try to stop it from bleeding at all. This is so thick that when you pack it down in there and then you shove it in with an amalgam plugger and then put some more on top of that and smooth it off and then trim this tooth up a little bit right here. And I've done thousands of them, and I've never had one blow up. So I'm going to stand on that because I never saw one that did blow up. So anyway, we'll go through this. So we smooth it out like that. Now that's the lateral. Okay, you've got to do the same thing over on the other side of the mouth. So we go over and we do the same thing over on this side of the mouth, right here. And then we round it out, except that your lateral is way over here now, and this lateral is down here. So, but you take enough of this off so this tooth can move over, and these teeth will center themselves up. They actually will. They'll go between the other teeth and it will center up, and they do in this particular case right here. All right, we take that down, and now we'll pack that one and go in the amalgam plugger, aspirate, smooth it off. All right, and here they come back, and this is 71 or something like that. And now here is that tooth that was down here, and look where it is. The midline is there. This one has moved over. It can still go over. This will still go. in here. As long as that person is functioning correctly, it will go in there correctly. It'll take it a while to do it. Now some of them won't, but you can straighten a lot of people's teeth and never put brace 1 on their mouth. I did that on my youngest son. Alright, here is a little later on. And now this is coming in. This tooth hitting right here, pushing it on this, and this will move over to here, and this will line up into the midline, even line up. And we have a first and second phase in doing this. Now when we run into it, we have to come in and do some work on the upper teeth. We do the pulpotomy, same way on the upper teeth. Now the bottom teeth have virtually straightened out, except here's where we cut that tooth out. Here, this one we may have to, you don't have any trouble with the teeth if you take the pulp out. If you think you're just going to trim it around the edge, those are the ones that give you trouble. And the ones that don't give you the trouble are the ones you do the pulpotomy on them. Okay, now that's lined up to that. Now the upper, we trim them to the pulpotomies. Now these teeth are coming in up above. And that's just down below, that's right after we did it. And there it is, almost corrected. It's still cutting out. You can still come in here and reduce that. There's no feeling in these teeth, of course. They don't have any nerve in them at all. And so you can work on them later on if you have to. Alright, we go. Now the upper have come in about like that, and the lower are just about straightened out. Then you watch this with the Panorex, and if this tooth goes before this tooth, then we take this, and then we'll come in and we, with our Panorex, figure how much room we're going to need right here for this bicuspid. And now we'll take that much off of the second deciduous molar. And I've done thousands of them. And you move them in there. Alright, there the upper teeth have come in now and lined up. And it will amaze you with just the gentle pressure of the lips and the tongue, and if they swallow correctly, and if they breathe through their nose, and if they use their mouth correctly, this thing will nearly every one of them straighten out right in here. It's just amazing how they will straighten out the labial pressure, the lips and the tongue and everything fitting in here, and those teeth straighten up like that. Now there's going to be, this is going to go all over the creation, and there'll be a lot of people that won't believe it at all, but just try it. And try it. Just don't try to blow air there, just aspirate if you want to, but just pack this zinc oxide and eugenol in there, and that's all it'll take, really. Alright, we're going to go to the second phase. Now the upper teeth have lined up like that. I haven't touched them with brace 1. Now, not even an elevator or anything to guide them in there. Now here, the second phase is this is coming in. We've lost our deciduous tooth, so we're going to take this tooth out, and we're going to take enough off of that and leave enough for the second bicuspid. Same thing over here. Cut it off, leave enough for the second bicuspid to come in there, then your first bicuspid here and your cuspid will come in there, just like that. And if you don't think that'll happen, if you've got somebody that's breathing through their nose, they're swallowing correctly, they're not sticking their tongue out or sucking their thumb and doing all sorts of things, the chances of this lining up are very, very good. So let's go on with something else here. All right, there, we take that tooth out. There is the cuspid. See, it's way behind these teeth here. Now, we're going to come in and take this tooth down right here and then do a pulpotomy through that side right there. All right. And we trim that tooth off. And then we take a long shank, round burr, sterile, everything, and we're going in the side of this tooth and just open into that pulp and go down and down in there, and then pack that with zinc oxide and use your dog. There, I've entered the tooth. I go down one horn, then down the other horn, then we come out, mark our zinc oxide and use your dog. I'm going to pack it up in that hole, and the little girl is kind of upset with us, to say at least. She doesn't like this idea of doing this, but she finally forgives us. And there we've done the second phase of that. And here we come back after the bicuspids have come through. Now look at the front teeth. Now I haven't touched them. They just come in, and the lips and the tongue push out in here, and these teeth just line up in there. But I can't get people that are afraid to go in and do the pulpotomies, but you got to take the pulp out of the tooth. They'll just hurt and bother them too much. You can't trim up very close to it. Take it out. Sorry, I'm kind of stopped up here this afternoon. Okay, now here's the bottom teeth. Do you remember where that lateral was? You remember this over here? This is moved back. This is still off center some. We may have to do a trim the tongue-tied problem, but maybe not. Now, the cuspid is coming in here, and the first bite will come in this place. Just hug that area right there. This first bite is already hugging this, and we got room for the second bite to come in right there. And if you had to, you could take a little tissue off there, take that, reduce that. Okay. Now this is the getting down close to the end. Now, if you remember, this cuspid was right back here. The tongue shoved that thing right up in there. This bicuspid is down in here. It shoved it over here. Fit right in this. We got plenty of room for the other one to come in. And this lined up. We got a little problem right there and here. And this came in that way. And I've had, I don't know how many cases that went through this, came through it. And lots of the little girls that you work on, the little boys and things like that, they bring their own children back in and hope that you can do the same thing for their child. But people don't seem to catch on to it very good. So anyway, we're going there, and now this cuspid's coming down there, and we won't be able to line it up perfect, but it lines up pretty good. The bite deepens to some extent, and on the bottom That's on the top. We're going to take this off. This will move over here, and the cusp will come in there. Same thing here. This moves here. This moves over. It will blow your mind just to watch nature straighten the teeth out. That's where they naturally come in, and that's where they get pushed to come through there. Alright, there's those teeth lined up right there. There's your lateral, your cuspid, your first bite, and your second bite will come in, something like that, right in that place right there. And I've had, I don't know how many do that. If you don't believe it, I'll ask. I've written this and published it. It's in our website. It's in other things. You can see that I've drawn pictures of all of this. But you can straighten many people's teeth without putting one thing on their teeth. And I did my own younger son that way. And here's a little girl. She's fixing to lose a baby tooth here, but she looks happier. And that's the way things turned out. If I'm not drastically mistaken, this young lady got married, had her own child, and brought that child in for us to straighten her teeth. I don't mean to get emotional in it, but that's the way it happened. And here she was when we started, and that's when we finished, and then we'll give her a chance to come in. But we've had a lot of parents that bring their children in to have the same thing done to them. So I know this will go everywhere and people won't believe it, but it's actually true. And nature straightens the teeth up. The tongue shoves them up the front. And if their lips are working like they should, line them up right behind that. So I'm going to leave it with you. Thank you for watching.